How's it going, guys? Welcome to my workplace and another YouTube video. And today we're going to do something, it's not too different, but we're going to be talking about nutrition. And we're going to be talking about how easy it is to go over your calories when you go out and buy fast food. Now, a common question is, when you go out, how do you track foods, right? And what is the context? Now, for example, someone like myself, a little bit different. We've got to add a caveat here. Very active, on my feet most of the day training people, eat a lot of calories anyway, and of course, I've got a fairly decent amount of muscle for my size. So we're gonna go out, we're gonna get in the food court, we're gonna talk about how to track, so we can give you some like takeaways and applicable knowledge so you can think about next time you're out, oh wow, how do I track this? Or what are some better choices dependent on my goals? Because it always comes down to what your goals are specifically. For example, are you someone who is dieting? Do you need to lose body fat? Are you someone who's sedentary? Do you have any heart conditions, etc.? Are you someone who's very active? Are you an athlete? Do you have very high caloric and sporting demands? So obviously people who are having a higher energy output are going to be a little bit more predisposed to be able to eat a lot more food. However, there are still some health precautions that we need to take just to make sure we're covering all the bases. And yes, if we have got a higher caloric threshold, then we've got a little bit more room to have a little bit of fun. So, first things first, we've got some ready to go meals here, and I think this is worth a mention, so follow me over here. Now, one, I'm not sponsored by anybody, so this is not a plug or anything like that. However, I have found that my Muscle Chef meals are one of the best in Australia, ethically, quality, and macronutrient wise. I do actually eat them, but again, no sponsorship, no discount codes. But something like that can be a really good staple. As much as I am an advocate of making the food yourself, it's not always sustainable and it's not always going to be doable for most people. People with a lack of nutritional or food preparatory knowledge or busy professionals. So if you're going to spend $9, $10, $12 on fast food, you might as well get something like this. You can buy it in bulk, you can save some money, and you can actually get in some quality nutrients which can aid you in your physique goals. So for something like this, again, they've got all the macronutrients provided. We've got fresh smoothies here as well, and this is really easy, right? Because all of this stuff has already been macroed in, so it's really easy to track. Same with things like this. All of the calories are on it, so you can use a tracking tool like MyFitnessPal or whatever that you use, Calorie King, and you can actually put it in. You might be someone who doesn't want to track via an app as well, and you can do that too, although it does require a little bit more guesswork and it can be a little bit tedious. But you can start by using basic measurements. So for example, palmfuls of protein, handfuls of carbohydrates, 3 to 4 servings of fruit and veg a day, and there's some really basic nuances there. So to give you some takeaways already, if you're someone who's just looking after general health, we want to look at a minimum of 3 meals per day. We want 3 boluses, so servings of protein between 20 and 40 grams, depending on whether you're a smaller or a bigger individual. We want anywhere from 3 to 5 servings of fruit and or vegetables, okay? Because again, if you're a larger individual or a bigger person, you might be on the high end, or depending if you're plant-based, you might be on the high end. And again, if you're a smaller individual or depending on your nutritional preferences, you might be on the low end. But they're gonna really cover the major basics of scope. They're gonna allow you to get your vitamins, your minerals, but at the same time, if you over-consume in highly plant-based foods or whole foods, you can find that the fiber can be too high. It's a really big misconception in the industry that we need to eat all of these whole foods, and oftentimes we end up feeling a bit bloated, a little bit full, because we've got too much fiber from anywhere like greens or high fiber foods, or even legumes and carbohydrate based foods as well, that are not just white and starchy in nature. So anyway, there's a couple of takeaways there. Also as well, 80% of your food, the 80-20 rule, 80% keep it whole foods, 20% have a bit of fun with. Again, the more calories you've got to play with, that 20% is obviously bigger, you get a little bit more fun food. So it's not always about eating clean or eating healthy, as I've talked about a lot on my channel before, but it's more about looking at what are the main requirements, what are the fundamentals, what are your goals, what are your contextual requirements for health, and then fitting all of those bigger pieces in the puzzle and then leading up to the smaller pieces. So we look at the nutritional pyramid, which we might whack on the screen here. So we're looking at behavior and lifestyle, energy balance, okay? We're looking at macronutrients, micronutrients, nutrient timing, and then supplements at the top, and there's always room for improvement. So it's in that order. But a lot of the time we see in the health and fitness world, or even just in the general sort of food industry, is that those things are elicited in a way where they're often backwards. they're promoted as if, hey, we need to eat clean food, or we need to have these supplements, where really energy balance is going to be king first. And if we build the pyramid from the base up, we're always going to have a stronger foundation, and we're going to set ourselves up for success. But anyway, I'm rambling. So without further ado, let's get into the food court. Let's have a look at some food and give you some more skills on how to track more accurately and improve your health and physique goals. Can we go straight into it? All right, sounds good. All right, so here we are. We're in one of the food courts, the many food courts in Robina. So this is called the kitchens area, hence it's kind of like the kitchens, right? And we're outside a good old Woolworths, the fresh food people. Once again, I'm not sponsored, disclaimer. And, you know, how do you track a lot of these sort of fast food restaurants? Now, there's a few places here, like for example, we've got Mark Daniels, we've got Bubble and Sweets, we've got Hero Sushi. Now, some of these are bigger names, so there's a couple of these brands that you can actually find on MyFitnessPal or nutritional databases, and you can track them in. Now, if you can't actually track them in because, say, the brand name is not there or the chain isn't big enough, then we've got to think about this with a little bit of common sense and logistically. So if, say, I'm going to have a sushi roll, right? I can see what the sushi roll is. It's described to me before I buy it. It might be a chicken and avocado roll or whatever they call the sunset thing. Or it might be a teriyaki or nigiri roll, whatever it is. I can search that up in my phone, in my database, and I can find the nearest thing to it. Now, again, it might not be 100% accurate, but like most things in life, the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. So, for example, I would always recommend overestimating than underestimating. Because that way, if you're someone who is dieting or you're someone who wants to watch their calories, you can always make sure that you're kind of covering your bases a little bit more. And if it's something that you eat out on regular, so say for example every lunchtime you do want to eat sushi, or you want to go to Subway, or you want to go somewhere, say like a Chipotle chicken roll, and you're consistent, and that consistent metric becomes the consistent, meaning if you're having that same thing all the time, and you can calculate it, even if it's not 100% accurate. Because if we think about this in reality, we'll never ever 100% know how many calories we're having. Even with the most accurate calibration tools, we still might be a few calories out. So what we've got to do is create a consistency, right? So we have a certain caloric threshold that we aim for. Within that, we have a protein, fat, carbohydrate, and fiber goal, and we are consistent with it. And then based on that and our energy output over time, we can then track our weight and see a trend. Are we increasing and are we decreasing in weight? Now, obviously, there's a few caveats to that, because if I'm weight training and I am increasing weight and I'm eating more food in a steady surplus, I could be gaining lean tissue. That's where we want to track things like girth measurements, skin fold, progress pictures, strength over time. It's not just about weight on the scales, because oftentimes that can't or will not tell the full story. So when we look at body recomposition, so recomposing the body in a more desirable way, so we're talking about lean tissue, we're talking about fat mass, right? We're talking about the main variables. Yes, we've got bone, ligament, tissue, organ, all of those things, but we're looking at the two main variables. Oftentimes we can get a little bit heavier, but we can look better over time, especially in the early days. So it's not always about decreasing or increasing the weight, especially not in fast quantities or over short periods of time, dependent on the actual tissue you're changing. So for example, you can always lose fat faster than you can gain lean tissue. Now, say for example you go to another place which is just a complete no-name place. Again, you've got to try and use the best guesstimate that you can. So say you get a bit of a complex dish, right? Say it's got multiple elements. So for example, let's say I go over to an Italian place down the road, okay? And it's a couple of slices of pizza, it's got mozzarella on it, it's got a couple of servings of salami or whatever. I can think about, and this is what I say to my clients, think about the main elements that are in that in terms of a macronutrient profile based approach. So for example, what's the main carb element of the pizza? What's the main protein element of the ingredients? And what's the main fat element? So for example, in a pizza, obviously the carbohydrate is mainly carb dominant, but it's obviously the dough, it's the bread. The fat component is going to be within the oil and obviously within the cheese that's on it, or it might be even in the salami as well, right? We're going to get a couple of mixed up nutrients there. And the protein element in this case would be the cheese and also the salami or prosciutto or whatever it might be. So what I can do is I can guesstimate as best possible when I do that. And based on my previous tracking history, I might know that, oh, that's about 20 grams. That's about 20 grams of prosciutto. That's going to be at least 100 grams of dough, or I might put it in as a slice of pizza. I might even use another big chain to use it. But again, the more you do this, the more consistent you get. Now, if you're dieting and you've got a competition, you're a very high-end athlete, don't eat out in the early days until you've mastered the tracking, because it can be a little bit deceitful, if you like, and it's going to be very hard to actually hit your macros, and you don't want that doubt when you've got too many things to actually worry about. That's more for the physique world. This is more just for general health. And when all else fails, guys, common sense. We generally know, especially if you start tracking to create an awareness, what is high calorie and what is low calorie. So if I say to you, for example, Kentucky Fried Chicken, it's going to be high calorie food. It's deep fried, it's going to have a lot of fat in it, okay? Yes, you're going to get some protein, but it's mainly going to add up through fat. And something else to note, when we look at the three big macronutrients, protein, fat, and carbs, we're looking at, for 1 gram for 1 gram of fat, we're looking at 9 calories. For 1 gram of protein and carbs, we're looking at 4. So fat accumulates a lot faster than carbohydrates and protein. It's also the smallest component of our intake, unless you're someone who is doing a ketogenic-based approach. Again, probably a story for another time. Fat also tastes good. It's hyper-palatable, right? It's really tasty. And when we combine fat with carbohydrates or sugar, so very, rich food. So again, we think about pizza, we think about pasta, we think about ice cream, we think about chocolate. It's very easy to eat. And because it's very dense in calories, it's very, very easy to overconsume. And that's what I'm going to show you next. So we're going to head down to the more fast food-based food court, where more of the most unhealthy and more nutritionally dense foods are that most of you probably consume. And I'm going to show you just how easy it is to rack up the calories and overshoot on these macronutrients. So let's head down there. Alright, we're in the fast food court here, as you can see, lots of students around. This seems to be the place to hang out. I know it was when I was younger, but I didn't eat a lot of fast food. And you know what? I'm glad my parents didn't make me eat a lot, because it didn't turn out to be too bad in the end. So anyway, as we can see here, we'll do a quick spin around for you at the moment. We've got more of the fast food joints that you guys know. We've got McDonald's, I'm looking around. We've got the Indian, we've got the Guzman Gomez, this is here in Australia, right? We've got the KFC, International Foods. We've got Subway, Bucking Bull, we've got YoPro. All of these really fast foods which are really easy to build up the calories. Now, it is International Cheeseburger Day, and although I'm not the biggest fan of McDonald's in terms of eating lots of it, I do like the taste, and I'm going to show you again at the most popular, I think the most popular in the world fast food joint, how easy it is to accumulate a couple of thousand calories by just one simple order, which anyone could consume. Now, it's been a big leg day for me, and I am hungry. So I'm going to be ordering some food. I'm not going to go mad. We do have a couple of food challenges lined up, but I'm going to save that for a later date. But I am going to order what I would just generally order to hunger, and then I'm probably going to go and order some like dessert, because I got a massive sweet tooth anyway. So let's go hit it, and let's see what these calories add up to. All right, going cheeseburger. Oh, look at these, the small value box. Medium. Oh mate, might have changed my order now. Nah, we'll keep it. We'll keep it real. Mate, I'm an old faithful, but I gotta say, you just can't beat the cheeseburger, mate. The cheeseburger's the best. I don't care what anyone says. There's the triple one. Fuck it. We're going for the triple cheeseburger. Yes, we're gonna make it a meal. We're gonna go large mac and. I want the large mac and spiel, but the fries and cheese. A garden salad, 82. I wouldn't order the garden salad, would I? No. But the loaded fries I wouldn't also do. But I'm going to go large fries. You can see, now, if you guys are good at maths, the kilojoules to the calories, you can get this. Right. I'm not also a Coke fan. I'm a bit weird. I'm the only person who doesn't like Coke. So what we're going to do is, we've got to do a milkshake, right? Or do we do a frozen Coke? Nah, we'll do a milkshake, because that's what I would actually do. Chocolate or strawberry? Chocolate or strawberry? Chocolate, chocolate, chocolate. Strawberry. for a large, and cool, that's all there. So $12.75, not bad. I'm gonna pay with the phone. Because that's what you do nowadays, you pay with your phone. I'll be paying with my wrist soon. No, that was not a dirty joke. 131, we're lucky, this will be good. Looks like we're gonna be here for a fucking while.
A few moments later. Six hours later.
All right, we've got the goods. Let's go. So I reckon find a quiet area to go and sit. Actually, you know what? Rookie error, never do this. Always check the goods are in the bag. Did make one rookie error though, didn't get the sweet and sour sauce. Saying that, didn't get the nuggets this time, so, you know. Wasn't a complete fuck up. Fancy a macaroon and a coffee. No jokes though, easy, right? You go out, you have a coffee, you have a slice of cake, bam. Depending on what you're putting in your coffee milk-wise and depending on the cake, you're looking at 500 to 800 calories, easy. If you're a small woman, there's a third, if not a half of your calories. So, you know, it's very easy to rack up the calories as you are about to find out. I've got, hang on. Jogging, oh no, we're good. I'm gonna cut people off. Looks like I'm following people, it's not good. You don't want that kind of reputation when you work in a shopping centre, you know what I mean? Steve Madden. Steve Madden. Just a little slight there for the Wolf of Wall Street fans. I like my movie references. And just so you know, the cameraman didn't get any McDonald's. He'd already stopped off for a healthy meal beforehand, so, you know, did offer, but, you know. He wanted to keep his cholesterol in check today. So we're almost back where we started. But it's because I know this is where there's quiet eating areas. I think it's going to be better for this. Purely based on the fact because we're filming and also I'm hungry and I'm probably going to demolish this food.
1 week later.
I'll be honest. What is that? What is that? One. Hang on. Oh no, there is. I thought there was only 2 patties on it. I paid for 3. Does that look like the photos? No. I don't want to slag McDonald's off, but still, really, you know what I mean? I mean, I've got to say, I did have a McDonald's a couple of months ago and it was better than this. That's a sorry sight, that, isn't it? And I will be honest, they are not as good as the other ones. Look at the size of that. Now, just to give you an idea before I eat this, right? Of how many calories are here. And look at the amount of food that's there. That's nothing. Well, anyone could eat. I mean, how many of them could I eat? Now, I'm not going to do it, because I don't like to put loads of shite in my body. Even if it's a food challenge, I like to usually do it with higher quality foods, right? Just to give you an idea, so the milkshake, 490 calories, right? Cheeseburger, triple, guess. Have a guess, go on, have a guess at home. 300, 200, 600, 700, 500, 596, call it 600 calories. Large fries. I mean, and that's a large. I mean, come on. And you can supersize that shit in America. It actually looks like the pictures in America. 366 calories. Let's break it down. So that's 1,452 calories for lunch. Call it 1,500. That is not a lot of food. I'm going to be hungry after eating that, right? And I've already consumed, for me, that's not quite half my day's food. Fortunately, I'm active, I eat a lot, so I can smash it. But that's not going to leave me very full for very long. So in the milkshake, 87 grams of carbs, 9 fat, 12 grams of protein. Phenomenal if you're a carb monster like me. But again, what nutritional value am I getting out of it? Triple cheeseburger, 29.7 grams of fat. And this is Australia, so we're just rounding it up, right? This is what the entries are. 35.5 grams of fat. That's a half, or at least a third for someone very large, of your daily fats, depending on who you are, right? 38 grams of protein, not bad, but still, how's the quality of it, all right? And then we've got the large fries. 41 grams of carbs, 18 grams of fat, 5.8 grams of protein. So I have pretty much got over my half plus daily grams of fat from this one meal. Yes, I've got a fair amount of protein. I'm not gonna get too much vitamins and minerals. Yeah, there's a bit of gherkin in there. That's about it. And I've got the milkshake. So again, not having to go at McDonald's. I actually don't have a problem with a lot of fast food joints, and it's not their fault. They are just providing a business and a service. It's us that don't have the willpower or the understanding, and yes, don't get me wrong, it's the carrot or the stick, to be able to understand if I eat this food all the time, I'm probably not going to have the best heart and internal health, and if I keep doing it, I'm probably not going to look the same way after a certain amount of time. Now, yes, I could incorporate one of those in my diet every day, like has been famously done before in the McChicken fucking film or whatever it was, I don't know. Super Size Me, I think the guy does it, right? Yeah, it's a good film, right? His cameraman's correcting me, yeah, exactly. So there's 1,500 calories just from that. Like that's not a lot of food. I think most people would be able to eat that, okay, personally. And we can see where it really gets away. So imagine doing that over time. Imagine doing that 3 meals a day, bit of fast food here, bit of fast food there. Oh, but it was sushi, it was healthy. It was Subway. It still adds up, guys. The sauces, the marinades, the cooking method, all of these things. So oftentimes when you track your food, it's not about the tracking, right? It's about creating an awareness. It's about creating an awareness of what is actually in food, how many calories are actually in it, and, you know, how do we match that up congruent to your goals? And then we can start to build a bit of a library, a little bit of competence towards, okay, well, still want a bit of this food because I enjoy it, or fun food, go for it. Or you know what, I want a burger, but I'm gonna get a better burger. I'm gonna go for a grilled burger. In Australia, that's more like a healthy burger. I'm gonna get a burger which is like a better patty, a better quality bread. It's got fresh salad in it, you know, it's freshly made, it's not processed. So once again, it's not just about what you eat, it's how much of it you eat. Because you can eat all the clean food you like, but if you're still over consuming in calories and you're under exerting in energy, you're gonna be putting on weight for the most part. There are obviously nuances but that's the big picture stuff. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna smash this now, and then we'll recap at the end with any lasting thoughts. Oh, and a pro tip again, you can dip your chips in your milkshake, or grab a few, take a sip. I'm telling you, it works. I know that sounds disgusting, but salty and sweet is a thing. So I'm gonna sit down. I will enjoy it, but it's just not much of it. Alright, so here's the thing, right? To recap on that was 1,500 calories, right? Now I could have comfortably ate that another, like, without being arrogant or showing off, at least another 3 or 4 times over, comfortably. And I'll prove that because I'm going to do a 10,000 calorie challenge and just show you how easy it is. If you've got a bit of an appetite, you train, and you've got a bit of a, I guess, a thing for food, we can call it these days, right? A foodie. It's very easy to accumulate, especially when you know what you're doing. And foods that are dense and almost purposely overeat, right? But say for example I had that another 3 or 4 times, that's so 3,000 calories for 2 times. So say I have say I had 4 of them, and I know not many people are going to do that, but they would if they were eating those other 2 main meals, so breakfast, lunch and dinner out. They would easily be able to accumulate 3,000 calories, and most people don't require 3,000 calories, or they're not training. And even if they are, if all of those calories are coming from highly processed foods with not much quality nutritional density in them, looking at the nutrient profile, meaning the vitamins, the minerals, the components, is it processed, is it from the earth, whole foods, etc., then you're not really going to set yourself up for health in the long term. And I was actually saying to the cameraman while I was eating that, we were having a bit of a chat, and I said, imagine doing that every day. And there is people out there who do that every day, right? And that's all they consume. They're sedentary, there's a lot of other things going in their life that are probably not good. They might be taking recreational drugs, whatever. And again, this is not me having a go, but oftentimes it's not always, what we're doing, it's what we're not doing, or it's what we do most of the time that counts. And this is what I talk about a lot of my clients. It's not about eating, again, these perfect foods all the time, like have a glass of wine, have some ice cream, have a McDonald's, sure. But again, balance it out and make sure that it's not something that becomes a habit, or it's not going to be the main component of your diet or your nutritional intake, if you like, etc. So yeah, it did bring back some memories. It was a bit nostalgic. I don't generally eat it a lot, purely based on the fact that, again, I like to put more quality food into my body. I could definitely eat that every day. I could work it in every week. I could do something like that, but I don't feel the need. I work it in with other foods. So for the people who watch my story, I'm eating like Pop-Tarts. I have those every day, etc. And that makes up a component of what I eat, because it's a really easy way for me to get carbohydrates in, and I also enjoy it. But most of my food is whole food. It's very, very high quality sources of protein, fat, carbohydrates. I have lots of fruits and vegetables within that. And I make sure that I've got other calorically dense foods to be able to get in the energy I need for the requirements in the gym and my daily activity level. So I'm covering all the bases, and then I'm having a little bit of fun as well. And that's what I advise you to do. So we'll put some of these calories, I'll put the calorie count up on the screen. For those of you who are interested, my daily calories at the minute are around 3,500. We're looking at 180 to 200 grams of protein. We are looking at, and I'll bring it up here, I am 75 to 85 grams of fat, just because I want to get this accurate. And then carbohydrate wise, I am looking at 460 carbohydrates. Fiber wise, I like to keep that to about maximum 30. I like between 15 and 30. So for every 1,000 calories, I recommend that you go 10 to 15 grams of fiber, because again, you don't want to overconsume. Too much of a good thing is too much of a good thing. So guys, that pretty much wraps us up. So just a bit of a short, bit of a fun one today, something a bit different. If you like this video, of course, give it a like. Make sure you subscribe, okay, for weekly videos. And of course, make sure to share it around if you found it entertaining, and comment. Do you want to see more of this? Do you want to see more food-based videos? Do you want to see some food challenges? Do you want to see the 10,000 calorie challenge? I'm probably just going to do it anyway, because at this point, this is me just putting information out there for you, for people, hopefully to help them, having a bit of fun, and it's just something that I enjoy anyway. So, thanks for tuning in, guys, and until next time, of course, stay fearless. All right. I'm being a good citizen here. Got to recycle. Is it all recycle? I don't know. Because that's recycling, isn't it? I feel like it's all recycling. Tissue in there.